Welcome to Databricks News. Today I want to talk about few topics, update pipelines on Trigger, asynchronous refresh of pipelines, compute sizing in apps, traces in Unity Catalog, notebook experience, base environments, and materialization of metrics view. So let's start with the first topic. And the first topic is possibility of Trigger of materialized views or streaming table based on updates. So we see here that we create replace materialized view and we specify trigger on update. Let's execute it on SQL warehouse. And what is really nice with that trigger on update is that it's automatically detect dependencies. So it will trigger update of that pipeline, which is materialized view. You can create also more advanced pipelines, yes, but in that simple example, we use just SQL warehouse to create that pipeline. And when any of the sources will change, like customers or orders, then the refresh will be triggered. So let's wait a few seconds for creation of the pipeline. I will go to pipeline and try to find that one. So this is that one. We see that it's initial refresh. And now let's insert one row to orders. So after that insertion, after a few seconds, the pipeline should run again because it will detect that changes in one of the source orders happened. So let's wait here a bit. Probably it will start in a few seconds. What is important to know is that if you have a new workspace, it's usually automatically, but in old workspaces or deployed by Terraform, you need to remember that this whole update history is coming from file events. So when we create a new external location, for example, for your Unity catalog, there is this option file event type. And now you can see that in new external location, it's automatic, yes, or provided. But maybe in the old one, you need to add it for that functionality to work correctly. And we see that it was triggered after update. So it's running now, yes. So you need to wait like a minute. I think it took 1 minute actually, because we inserted that 1 minute ago, yes, and then that update was triggered. Another thing here that it can generate sometimes problems, because imagine that in production you have, for example, 1000 inserts, like one insert by another. So I think the good option is to add this at most every interval. So then we will be sure that the pipeline will not be triggered again, for example, every 30 seconds because you inserted new data. So usually you need to think about that time. So for example, now when we insert again, we would need to wait 5 minutes, but usually for production use cases, that's okay to add such an interval. Let's see, it finished. Okay, it's waiting for resources. So it's taking a bit longer time than I expected. But once it's finished, I will show you one more thing. Okay, it finished. So one more thing is that now when you execute pipeline refresh from SQL warehouse, you can add word asynchronous. This way you don't need to wait for the result of that refresh here, because before it was problem that when you have pipeline, you pay 2 times because you paid for SQL warehouse or for pipeline. Now when you add async, it's just executing that refresh, but you don't have to wait here. Just the process is starting here, yes. So the process is running only in one place. So it's good improvement if you're triggering that refresh from SQL Warehouse, I recommend always to add async in the end. Another update is related to compute sizing. So when you create new app in Databricks apps, you can choose the compute size, and now it's general availability, so everyone has access to large instance. Soon there'll be more options here, so stay tuned. But it's really good because usually medium is not enough for most modern applications, so it's good that large is now generally available. And another update is related to MLflow traces. So if you install new MLflow, so I install here MLflow Databricks minimum version 3.9.0, then you can configure to keep traces in Unity catalog. So they are visible both in experiment and in Unity catalog. So I will run that cell, and then you can set where is destination for tracing for all traces. Basically, it's creating a few new tables in catalog. So when we go to main and default, we can see that data is stored here, like MLflow experiment. So we have all these tables here, and it's using open telemetry to store that data. So it's like zero bus technology. And every trace, it's really easy. Just use this MLflow trace, then it's stored there. So it is a really good logging system. So here we can see that trace. So it's that we have input, output, and it's stored in Unity catalog using OpenTelemetry. It's in beta, so there are some limitations how much traces we can store. Also, it's not working on every workspace because you need to have OpenTelemetry Delta connector enabled. But it's a really nice solution. And also that writes to Delta table are really fast because they are using that new zero bus engine, which is only optimized for inserts. And another update is related to notebook experience. So first, let's open new Markdown cell. I will open some image, and now when we click Ctrl C, and then now here we put Ctrl V, we can see that that image is automatically updated. So generally inserting now images to notebook is really simple, and that's here. So no more like drag and dropping to folder structure on the left, but we can directly copy paste images between notebook and other tools in your system. Another improvement, which I think is really useful, is that when you go to workspace, you can have now option to see recent workspace tabs. So if you are working on several projects, for example, yesterday you work on different project, you can really easy restore that tabs. So for example, I can see here that 8 days ago I work on these tabs, and I can click restore tab session or restore tab session in new tab, or I have list of these tabs. So it's really useful, especially for developer or analysts who work on multiple projects. So I really like that history of open tabs and possibility of restoring them. And another update is related to base environments. So now in jobs, we can use base environments. It's sadly not that environment which we can define in a workspace and precompile, but we can point directly to YAML. So when we are here in job and we are in task, we can select here base environment. And here we can point to YAML file with that environment. The best we can use for that both volumes or workspace. I think workspace is better because you can use that file next to your bundles. Of course, this is just for serverless computing. In workspace, you can also use the same YAMLs for interactive environments, just they are precompiled, but here you need to point to that YAML, not to that precompiled environment from workspace. And of course, we can look to job YAML file, which is used in bundles, and you can see here how to specify that. So you just create spec base environment, and you put to that YAML with environment configuration. If we go here, this is that YAML. So this is YAML with dependency. You specify, for example, environment version, the serverless environment version, so you can check what is there, and then you can specify the libraries which have to be installed together with that environment. And our last update is related to metrics view. Now in metrics view, let's execute that one. So SQL Server, warehouse, and create that metric view. We can see that there is new option materialization, and what is doing, it's creating materialized view, but materialized view has all functionality of metrics view. So we can see that the operation has been launched in the background. And we can see that it's creating a normal pipeline, which is materializing that metrics view. So if we go to that pipeline, we can see that it's just the pipeline, and we can see the link to metric view. So this is just standard metric view. Just is it is materialized. So if you have some performance problem with metrics view, especially for dashboard and for big tables, it's a really nice solution to materialize so Jenny or dashboards can consume that data much more faster. And here I have examples, so you can run any things related to metrics view. So for example, filter measures on that materialize metric view. So it's combination of materialize view and metric view. And lastly, if you click describe extended for that metric view, we can see here more information that it's materialized. We see the date of last refresh, all table properties. So in fact, it's a Delta file, but optimized for metrics view. And that's all in this short update. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video next week.